3, 2, 1, 0. All engine running.
Whether you've been married 1 or 20 plus years, at some point, you realized you were married into crazy.
And that's what our podcast is all about. We offer love, laughter, and a dose of reality as we unpack this crazy thing called marriage.
So sit back, relax, and get your ear hustle on. It's time to start the conversation.
All right, let's go.
Welcome to episode 141 of the Married into Crazy podcast with Snooks and Lovey. I'm Lovey.
I'm Snooks.
And I've taken the mantle, taken the reins. I'm back in control. I get to start off the podcast.
He did a sneak attack.
I
I was getting ready.
saw her like inhale. And I was like, oh, let me pounce real quick. Let me just jump in there.
Whatever.
Hey, we want to welcome each and every one of you back to the Married into Crazy podcast. As you know, we're a couple that's been married 24 years. And we've been through some stuff. We talk about it from time to time. If you don't know our story, it's kind of interesting at the very least. We met on a blind, bamboozled, being tricked into meeting each other.
Yes, non-date.
Non-date. I'll say it's a blind date, but she always counters.
Because it's not a date.
Well, after we were forced to meet each other, she immediately fell in love with me. And is that not true?
8 days later.
It's 8 days. 8 days later.
8 days later.
Look, the Beatles even wrote a song about our love. 8 days a week. So,
Oh my God.
so actually, I knew that she was the one when we first met, and then it took her 8 days to catch up. She's a little slow like that, and so then, right after that, we got engaged. 4 months later,
after that, yep.
and her ex-boyfriend, that was estranged, he attacked her, stabbed me with a serrated steak knife through the heart. I ended up having to go under 2 open heart surgeries.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you can try and rewind that. We didn't stutter. Yes, I was stabbed through the heart. That means the knife went all the way through, and actually ended up having 2 open heart surgeries. The first one was to save my life. The second one was to
Save your life.
save my life again, because they didn't realize the knife had gone all the way through the first time. So yeah, as I was healing, they had to crack me open again. And it was crazy. So you need to go back and listen to like some of our earlier podcasts. We're probably going to recap that again at some point, but that's it in a nutshell, so then everything was phenomenal after that. It was a beautiful marriage for approximately 4 years. And then she decided she wanted a divorce.
Well, then it wasn't beautiful. I know you're ashamed anyway.
No, it was not beautiful. We had a rocky time. So This isn't us sitting up on Mount Marriage, telling everybody how great our marriage is. No,
Well, it is great now.
it's all right.
Wow.
No.
Okay.
No, it's great now,
no.
but we had to go through some stuff. We had to plant some seeds, go through some winters, have a few harvests here and there that, the crops didn't quite meet up to expectations. She tried to kick me to the curb, said I want a divorce.
Were there crops? You said the crops didn't meet up to the expectation. That means that something was
what we were harvesting in a relationship.
Something was coming up if there was something. We didn't
Weeds.
have anything. Yeah.
With a lot of weeds.
Use any of that.
Yeah, we harvested a lot of weeds the first 4 years. And then miraculously, she opened her eyes and saw what she had in front of her. That's not it? That's not it? Okay, well, I thought that was it.
Okay, that's it.
That's my story, and I'm sticking to it.
I'm gonna let you have it, okay? I'll take the L on it, all right? I'll take
No, but we went through some stuff and had to battle our way back to being in love. And so as a result of that, we created this podcast, and we wanted to share a lot of the things that we've gone through over the years, but also introduce you to a variety of couples and people that benefit marriage and relationships. So that way we can all get to the point where we have a phenomenal relationship.
Mm-hmm. So, okay, I'm just going to kind of jump right in.
Jump right in.
So a few weeks ago, we had Mavis
Mavis McKnight
on, and she talked about sex. And it's so funny. I feel like when people talk about sex, there's either one extreme, there's one of 2 extremes. They're either like, oh, I'm so appalled about talking about it. Or you have those like, finally it's about time. Right? Let's talk about sex.
Let's talk about sex, baby.
Hey,
look,
you're not supposed to sing.
Mavis was so good. We interviewed her twice in the same day.
Whatever. Yes, we did.
First time we interviewed her for 25 minutes when I realized, oh, we're not recording. I mean, it was so good. We were laughing, and
I think I realized it.
I think it was you.
Yeah.
Isn't it usually
I
the
just,
woman when the gentleman has a premature non-recording?
wow.
So
Really?
we had to start all over again in that particular episode, but it was
Mhm.
still really good. So go
Yeah.
back and listen to that episode that had Mavis McKnight, the sex coach. We even thought about having a segment or trying to figure out a way where we can have Mavis come back periodically, and she's
Mhm.
open to it. We just haven't quite figured out logistically how we would be able to make that happen.
Well, maybe we'll see some of these questions, these email questions that we have for her whenever we decide to have her back. So anyway, from that, we we started getting like correspondence about sex and what we thought about certain things, and people gave their input and stuff. And there was one question, well, actually there was a couple, but one question in particular talked about his wife. I say his, well, anyway, the wife not really wanting to, she's not very spontaneous anymore. She kind of, it's like, oh, she wants to put it on a calendar. And he was like, who does that?
And we did talk about that
Eh,
with Mavis.
yeah. But also we remember after that, we
Right.
had another conversation on, what's it called?
It was on Clubhouse.
Clubhouse. Yes, Clubhouse.
So
And
hold on, let me
it
interject.
was kind of lively.
So on Clubhouse, we also have another room, a club, if you will, called Hot Relationships. And HOT stands for honest, open, and transparent.
Topics at that.
Well, it's actually called Hot Relationships
Okay.
because Hot Topics in Relationships was too long of a title and we
Okay.
couldn't fit it in. So we do that with two other couples. We do that with Snapper Red and SIBO, who are some internet sensations that have some amazing channels out there. You need to look them up if you're not familiar with them. They have reaction videos on the internet. They've got like close to like 50,000 subscribers. It's crazy. They're amazing. And then we also have Joey and Tina Kibble that we do the hot relationships with every other Friday. As a matter of fact, we have one coming up this
Ooh,
Friday.
this Friday, yeah.
Yep, this Friday. And we cycle it. So there's a couple, as couples, we each get to pick a topic, and we don't tell the other couples what the topic is until it's time to actually put it in there and advertise it and get it out for people to be able to join.
Mhm.
And so this week, Joey Kibble, and if you don't know Joel Kibble is a member of the Grammy Award winning group Take Six. And his wife is an amazing product manager back on the East Coast. And so it's everybody brings a different dynamic. Joel was in a divorce before, so he brings that, been through a divorce, and they have a very blended family that they're raising. We've got a younger couple with Snapper Red and SIBO. They bring their perspective. And then, of course, us, the old heads, we come in. And I'm the old head, by the way. She is the beautiful head.
Whatever.
And we all chop it up. So we did have this topic that came up a few weeks ago on our hot relationships. And again, if you want to tune in, check out Clubhouse and look up Hot Relationships. That's it's an acronym, H.O.T. relationships, and go ahead and request to join the group. I think we've got close to 100 people that are following it, that are subscribed. And again, every Friday, 5:30 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. I'm sorry, every other Friday. Did I say that?
Mhm.
Okay, I'm sorry. She's looking at me like you just took over my whole conversation.
Wow, because I cannot wait until I go on a tangent. I cannot wait. I'm like, all I'm gonna say is episode 141.
Wow.
Yes, wow.
Yes,
I'm
ma'am.
just saying.
As you were saying,
Anyway,
back to our regular programming.
So we had, I feel like it was kind of a lively conversation about
Scheduled sex.
spontaneous versus scheduled
Mhm.
sex. And so I thought that would be we both thought it would be a good idea to bring it to the podcast and see what the listeners thought, and maybe kind of chime in on what you think about scheduled and spontaneous. So tell me, tell them, what do you prefer?
Of course, I prefer spontaneous.
Tell me why.
Because then it's just like it's fresh, it's new, it's like you weren't expecting it. It's just, it's in the moment.
Mhm.
But then, I mean, there was some challenge. Like Mavis brought it up, and then it even came up in our hot relationships conversation, where sometimes spontaneous sex It's stanky sex. Okay, look.
Some
Okay.
people like stinky sex.
Some people like stanky sex, but literally, but butt. No, it's like there needs to be some preparation and getting ready for the moment, if you will. And I think a lot of the folks came back and talked about it being hybrid. They said that a hybrid, like, so, and a lot of people that chimed in that day from the crowd that we brought up to the stage were saying that, they think hybrid is.
I was asking about you.
Oh, me. Well, I prefer spontaneous, but we've tried to do scheduled sex, and sometimes something always comes up.
Something always comes up. That's why we had to schedule it.
True.
You think about it.
What about
So,
you? Wait,
but
no. You don't get to ask me, and I don't get to ask you. So what do you prefer?
what do I prefer? Hybrid. I want it to be spontaneous, obviously, but I would like if it's scheduled, I'm like, oh, okay,
It's
10
9:15.
o'clock. I know I better be ready.
Look, you ever seen those movies? Like if you go to a corporate meeting and they have a break, and there's a you say, oh, you got a 10-minute break, and then you have to come back into the General Assembly. And then when you go back in, as you're getting close to the time you're supposed to go back in and get seated, or if you go to a major conference, these major hotels, they'll have somebody walking through hitting these little chimes, ding, 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 ding. They'll hit these things where it's letting you know that it's time to go back in. What we need is one of them people walking around the house. It's like, ooh, 9:15 is time for scheduled sex. Somebody needs to walk through the house going ding, 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 ding,
You
ding.
drop everything you're doing
And
and
it's
you
like,
can
oh,
go have sex.
gotta go.
No, okay, so do you think what do you think is well, obviously for you to say spontaneous sex, you think that scheduled sex is, do you think that's kind of negative? Do you feel like it's a reflection of the relationship?
Well,
Because there are some myths about scheduled sex and spontaneous sex.
I don't think it's look, I don't think it's a negative one way or the other, but I do think that there's I don't know, some it's like, oh, I want to keep it real. I want it to be like, hot and passionate. And I think that people believe, and actually came out in the conversations, that
Mhm.
people believe that there's a lack of passion if it's scheduled. I like what I like what Mavis said. I just like sex.
Right. Let's just do it.
She's like spontaneous, scheduled. Last time I checked, it's me and it's him, so it's still sex. What's it matter if it was put on a calendar or if it was?
Well, I mean, but obviously because you have a preference, you kind of feel like that too without actually saying it.
Well, you know why? And I think it goes deeper than that. It's not so much about it being something on a calendar and scheduled and it looks all clinical or I don't know, methodical or what have you. But I think there's something about it being in the hunt, something being primal about, I'm going, you know what? I'm putting on my smell good. I'm going over, I'm gonna grab her hair. It's like, girl, tonight, right now. As opposed to, okay, well, it's our prescribed time and it's
Okay, so you make it sound so corny. Oh my gosh. So I'm just gonna tell some of the things that I I want to talk about that. I think it's funny because one of the myths or the benefits about spontaneous sex is that it's more passionate.
mhm,
People think that because I see you, you see me. What is that? Our pheromones? How you say it? Pheromones?
yeah.
Okay, I said it right. Our pheromones just all of a sudden, your nose flares, mine flares or whatever. Something happens with our glands, and then it's like, let's go, let's get it,
Let's get it.
let's get it. Is that how it happens?
I, sort of. I mean, you tell me, because there's times where you're like Pepe Le Pew. You be running through the house talking about, you are my man and I want it now. You're like, come here, my husband.
And then what do?
I'm like, hey. No, I usually say I'm
Babe,
tired, I'm
because
sleepy,
you're working.
or I'm working.
And okay, so and that's one of the challenges of for us, we always say we're very transparent and we keep it real. That's one of our challenges is that because you're doing so much, you're working.
It's not just me.
I'm
Did you check to make sure your microphone's even on?
Yeah, my microphone is on. Why you say that?
I want to catch all of this.
You silly. No, but what I'm saying, okay, so you're working. Typically, you're in the office later than I am, right? Because once Lovey's in the office, he's doing whether he's doing something for he's finishing up for work or he's working on stuff for MIC. He's in the office more than I am. And so I go to bed before him because I have to get up at 4 o'clock in the morning. And there are some times when he goes to bed before me, but at there's there what is that called? A breaking point where we do not cross over
Oh, it's a threshold where it's
a
like
threshold. Yeah.
the witching
okay.
hour.
Yeah, whatever.
Rana's like, look,
I'm like,
Snooks is like, look, past 10:30, don't touch my
don't
booty.
even not
Don't-
even accidentally.
Don't cuddle up next to me. Don't you
don't
dare
say
try
that.
and spoon.
No.
You are allowed to have
No.
one appendage, usually a leg that can cross over this line, this meridian, the meridian of sleep. You can cross this line and you can touch me with your leg. That is it.
That is
Or
not
your
true.
arm. Choose one.
That is
it.
not true. And
Any other
you-
appendage? And I will call foul.
it has to be a non-moving appendage, okay? Because I love when we cuddle. I love that. You know, I love when we spoon, but he can't just leave it at that. I'm just like, babe, I'm tired. I'm sleepy.
Wait, no, she doesn't say, I'm tired, I'm sleepy. It's usually like at that moment, it's like, you do know I got to get up at 4 o'clock in the morning, right? And it's usually a deep voice like that too, and it shocks me.
Lovey be playing. I'm like, are you serious? I have to drive far away, almost an hour, and here you come. You should have came to bed earlier. But what do you say?
I'm like Damon Wayans. Give me the rabbit. Give me the rabbit.
Whatever.
And for those of you that don't catch that reference on Give Me the Rabbit, you need to go back and watch. Was it Colors?
No. Is it Colors? I'm gonna get you, sucker.
No, it was Colors.
It was Colors.
You gotta go watch and watch.
Sean Penn was the one who arrested him, right?
Yeah, and you gotta watch Damon Wayans in this one jail scene where he's trying to get the rabbit.
No, he was in the store because remember he
Was
broke in the store.
I thought it was when they brought him in. He was like, "Give me the rabbit."
Well, they were handcuffing him.
Oh, that's hilarious.
Anyway, yeah. Okay, so that's one of the things about spontaneous sex. A myth or / benefit is that it's more passionate.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't necessarily agree with that it's more passionate when it's spontaneous, because at the moment it sounds good, like, yeah, babe, you know, we finna handle it. We about to why are you doing that? we about to get it in, you know.
That's what I'm saying. Come on.
But that same thing can be about schedule, because for me, so let's say our schedule is Tuesday.
Okay.
No, I won't say Tuesday because you know how I am. I'm a high C, and then I'll think about everything I have to do on Tuesday. Well, no, we can't do it that day. Anyway, so let's say it's Thursday. Let's say our schedule is Thursday. So as soon as I get up on Thursday morning, I'm already in my head knowing that, okay, I'm gonna be home on time. I got my exercise that I got to do. Everything is structured so that there is no interference of our time. Dinner, whatever we might be having some takeout or whatever. So and I'm getting ready all day. I'm in the mood all day. It's like I'm setting it up.
I'm taking notes. Come on,
you should have already had notes. It's like I'm setting it up for the whole day. So 9:30 comes. I'm like, okay, you better be upstairs at 10 o'clock because it's going down.
Because remember, 10:30, witching hour.
Whatever. I'm saying, you know. So you can still be, I feel like you can still be spontaneous even when it's scheduled, because it doesn't necessarily mean that, okay, it's scheduled. I look at you, you look at me, we both get in bed, and then we count to 3 and then we go. It's not a mechanic type of, you know, movement. It's not, what is that thing? assembly line type of, okay, I touch you, okay, now you touch me, or
Touch me here.
yeah,
Okay, now I touch you
it's
there.
not robotic.
Right.
It just means that we have set that time aside to go um and
To
handle our business.
to be focused on each other
Yeah.
without any distractions whatsoever.
It's like it's like anticipation, you know.
Well,
Anticipation.
why you get to sing and I don't get to sing?
That's my first time.
Oh, that is your first time.
Yeah.
So I think that when you make up a good point, because
Thank you.
no, it's one of those things where we talk about how, and we talked about this with Mavis as well, about how the mind, and I think we even brought it up on our clubhouse, but the mind is the greatest sexual organ there is,
Mhm.
right? Everything begins with your mind, because I know that you have to get in the mood and you have to be prepared, and trust me, I mean, we're not saying that you're not supposed to have, those quickies or whatever, and those fun, whatever. But in preparation, that's like foreplay. So instead of foreplay being, it's not limited to just
The physical
the
touch.
pregame, what happens right before you actually end up having,
Mhm.
sex per se, the main event. It could be, why can't foreplay be all day or all week or all, however many times you plan on scheduling throughout the week? But it's the build up
Mhm.
to that. You're talking about, you wake up in the morning, and you've got it on your mind, and and so it takes, that's an all day. What we should be texting you. Well, I can't text you because you can't take it into your job, but
Mhm.
little notes here and there, little things or whatever to prepare for that.
Mhm. Okay, so I just made me think of something.
I'm
It's
getting
like
excited. I'm like, I want to schedule something.
it's just like when we go on vacation, we don't
So
necessarily
true.
talk about, oh, it's finna go
It's going
down when
down.
we
Hotel
go on
sex.
vacation. Ooh, what you
Woo-wee.
say? What? But in a sense, it's scheduled because we know it's gonna happen. You know what I mean?
True. That's very
So
true.
it's like I already know because I'm what I'm gonna take, this and that or whatever. I have it planned in my head. I'm big on staging, so I know that basically it's a schedule,
Hmm.
but we go through the motions. It absolutely does not deter anything. Doesn't make it any worse. I think it makes it better just because now I know what I'm taking.
That's
And
true.
and one of the other things too, like about schedule, a challenge of spontaneous sex is, let's just be real. Some men suffer from what is that, erectile dysfunction.
Yeah, ED.
So sometimes you may have to take something to
That's true.
get you going. And I don't know how long it takes for Viagra to respond, but you can't really be too spontaneous.
Just for the record, I don't know either.
I think it was assumed when I said I didn't know, because okay, but I'm just saying you have to get ready for it. And even some women, they suffer from low libido, and I don't know if there's something that women take that make
Well,
them.
when we talk about, think about it. I mean, we have a variety of couples that listen to the podcast, and individuals as well that are in a variety of ages. We had a podcast I was like, back in 2018, or early 2019, where it was, if you're breathing, it's your season.
Mm,
And it's the same thing when
2018.
it comes to sex, but there's a variety of ages, and there's things that take, uh, I guess, the forefront of the precedence, um, for individuals. So it might be, let's just keep it real. We can even be very clinical about it. You're talking about ED for men, and you're talking about low libido for women, but men also suffer from low libido. They have low testosterone.
Mm,
As
mm,
as gentlemen get older, prostate gets enlarged, and they have a
the medical
tendency.
things.
Men,
Hmm.
yeah, men have a tendency to have, low T. Testosterone decreases as you age. So there's men that get to a certain point. I don't know quite when that is, but it's a variety of people that may have to have, therapy. Like, where I don't remember the medications that exist. I never sold those, but I know that there are medications, like they can have gels that they put on,
Mm.
or I think you can get shots for testosterone. I don't know, but um, stuff like that to increase your testosterone. For women, there's lubrication challenges because of menopause or perimenopause. So there's different things that take place that could get in the way. So scheduling could be a way to get, like you said, ready for it, or at least prepared.
It could be kids.
It's always kids. Doesn't matter if they're 2 or they're 20. It's them dang kids.
I
You're
don't
sitting
know
there
how
talking
many of you
about doing
guys
your
have
Pepe Le Pew.
kids.
I am going to take you right now. Hey, Dad, where's the
I swear.
It's like, really? Did you not know the door was
Oh
closed?
my gosh. I was going to say, I don't know how many of y'all have kids, but I don't know. Have you ever been caught? I
Hmm.
would say, I don't know if you've ever been caught. If you've ever been caught, how does that make you feel? And it's like, dude, okay, dude, are they gonna need some counseling? It's like,
What y'all doing?
okay, go away.
Oh, we were wrestling. We were WWF up in here, kid. Yep.
Okay, so I just have to tell
Daddy
the
was the
story.
Rock.
Okay, silly. I just have to tell this story. Remember when Kaylin came in the room? Kaylin came in the room. Oh my gosh. It was so funny. I don't know why. Well, because he had to be almost 3. And he comes in the room, and then I happened to turn to the side, and he was like, "Hi, Mom." I was like, "Oh, hi." I tried to slither back under the cover. He's like, "What you guys doing?" I was just trying to tickle mommy. I was like, "Oh my gosh, oh my gosh." I was so embarrassed. He didn't think nothing of it. He was just like, "Oh, like, can I get in the bed too?" Mm-mm. No, go in your room. We'll be in there in a minute. But that's
Well,
just funny. I mean, because kids are one of the things that can deter you from being spontaneous.
oh yeah, little crumb snatchers are definitely mood. They're not mood enhancers. Let's just put it that way.
Kiki was really bad though.
Oh, she had a radar. It was just like, as soon
Kiana
as we would
was
get close to each
really
other,
bad.
then she'd be like,
Oh,
they're
daddy's touching.
touching.
Yeah, daddy's touching mommy.
That was funny. I
So
don't know why, but she would always just come. She was like that kid. She was like Brother Man, just popping up out of nowhere.
yeah, oh yeah, bro man from the fifth floor.
If you guys ever watched Martin, that was Kiana, but it only happened when we were about to get intimate. She'd be like,
Yeah.
boom, hey, I'm hungry.
Oh my gosh. And she was not even she was under 2. So it
Showing
wasn't
up.
like we could just ignore her and be like, go in your room.
I tried.
Yeah, Lovey was not very nice. But anyway, back to the subject, what we were talking about. So I think that, well, I kind of started out with this talking about couples, the way that we view, or the way that some people view spontaneous sex versus scheduled sex. They tend to look at it like, if you have to schedule sex, then that means there's something wrong in the relationship,
Mhm.
you know, versus you should just be able to just do it anytime, anywhere, whatever, because that means there's passion and that means there's love. And but I'm here to tell you, as one who's scheduled sex before, I, that's not the case for us. That I feel like that just showed a more, I want to say, deeper dedication, or more dedication to the relationship, because we realize that we are not having our adult time like we used to before. So I care enough, or we care enough about that adult time to say, hey, we need to probably put this on the calendar, because I'm tired, you're tired, you got this, I got that, blah, 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 whatever. And in life, things happen and people start moving, moving, moving. And before I'm like, dang, it's been a week. We ain't even
Right?
he didn't even touch my leg, or whatever.
Because it was 10:30.
And it and even there have been times where I was like, oh my gosh, okay, babe, we finna, and we just look at each other. I'm like, I'm tired. And he's like, I'm tired too. We'll just cuddle tonight, and go to sleep. But I feel like, I want to say, don't look at it like, if you have to schedule it, then that means that there's something wrong. That just means that you realize that you need to put it in there. You schedule your dental appointments, um, and your checkups or whatever. So why not schedule your sex,
No,
if you find that it's challenging to be able to get it in when you want to get it in.
no, I think there's a lot of validity to that, because something you said earlier, I think was crucial, is that you're showing that it's a priority,
Mhm.
right? And because of that, when we don't show something as a priority, or we don't discuss it or make it a topic of importance, you start to assume that it's not
Mm.
important to the other person.
Mhm.
And
Mhm.
then when that happens, our minds do really funny things. We have these conversations in our head where it's only in our head, but we got dialogue for the other
Mhm.
person as well. It's like, oh, well, why haven't we had sex in so long? Well, maybe he's not attracted to me anymore. And he then, what? The other day he looked at me a certain way, and I bet and the next thing you know, it's like there's a full on conversation. You're filling in what
Mhm.
I said and what I might say, or what I could say, or what I probably would say, and next thing you know, there's attitude, there's anger, this, that, and the other, and
The
it
other
could just
person
be
doesn't even know what's happening.
exactly the other person has no idea what's going on, and this whole scenario that we've built up is false. It's a false narrative. And all it really takes is for us to say, hey, you know what? I really miss our intimacy. Can we schedule something? Can we put something on the calendar? Because it's important to me. Oh, well, I thought you just didn't find me attractive anymore. I thought that, you just didn't want to have sex with me anymore or whatever. It could be all these variety of things. So you're left to assume a lot. I mean, that just speaks to bigger communication
I was about to
challenges
say communication. Hmm.
that we'll probably focus more on in one of the upcoming podcasts. We'll get back into discussing DISC and how to have better communication. Because if you didn't know, now you know that we are marriage coaches as well. And we've got clients that span across the United States, and we've had some international ones, but that doesn't matter. What matters is we're in it for you, that we try and make sure that we enhance your communication, give you tools and resources that help you to have these conversations, to have discussions about scheduled sex, as opposed to spontaneous sex, the whys, the hows, should we, shouldn't we? If you're not having that conversation, that's where the challenges really
Yeah,
start to mount up.
I agree with that because it's important. And if something is important to you and you're not expressing it to your partner, like Lovey said, even if you don't have that conversation in your head, sometimes well, they should know. You'll think, oh, well, he ought to know that we ain't did nothing and blah, blah, blah. And then the very next thing we say, well, if you ain't doing it here, then that means you're doing it somewhere.
Come on.
Like, no, I'm just not doing it at all. I mean, because I'm tired, but we need to make sure that we have open, honest communication about sex. Whether, okay, babe, I know we haven't done it in a while, blah, 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 because I've been tired. And okay, that's when the partner, you show the compassion, babe. I know you've been tired. So, but to keep it real, I miss it. And okay, so now we can work together on how we're going to figure it out, you know.
And these are next level conversations that are really simple to have.
Mhm.
It might be a little uncomfortable at first, but it's so funny. I don't understand why it's so uncomfortable to have these conversations when doing the deed is not uncomfortable. Getting naked isn't uncomfortable, and doing a variety of sex acts is not uncomfortable. But talking about should we or shouldn't we or how we're going to go about this is uncomfortable.
Well, I feel like because once we're naked and once we're doing it, I feel like that's acceptance. Sometimes when you talk about it, I'm not sure what you're going to say,
Hmm.
and there may be some rejection, or there may be some displeasure, or maybe in my mind, maybe you don't want to do it because I don't please you, or you don't, it's not I'm not doing what you want me to do, kind of thing. So if I have these conversations, because I think we all have these conversations, not necessarily about sex, but those conversations where they're all one-sided, and then we project on the other person. So I believe that people probably have done that about sex also. So if I'm feeling like you may reject me, I'm not going to have the conversation. I'm just going to, hopefully it
No,
blow over or something like that, you
that's
know?
real. That's real. Send in some questions, send in some feedback. Let us know. Email us over at coaching@marriedintocrazy.com or snooksandlovey@gmail.com. Email us and let us know what your thoughts are. What do you think? Do you choose scheduled sex? Do you choose spontaneous sex? Or is it a hybrid that when you schedule it, then it becomes spontaneous, in the moment? It's like, okay, you know, clock strikes 9. Ha ha, I'm a burglar now. you know, Let me know what.
or the nurse or the maid or something like that.
Right. Okay. I am the substitute teacher. Let me know. I'm curious, but more importantly, it's like, how do you have that conversation? What has been your experience in having these conversations? Or just let us know. Emails like, hey, you know what? This is a good topic, and we really haven't had the conversation, and I've been feeling some kind of way.
Mhm.
And if you're not sure how to have that communication, reach out to us. We can do a 15 to 30-minute free discovery call. Go to marriedintocrazy.com, visit us, schedule, your free call with us, and we'll talk just for a moment, to maybe help you figure out how to have that conversation, and then see if there's an opportunity for you, and it makes sense for us to actually do some coaching to help you have get to that next level when it comes to communication, so we can put these types of obstacles behind you and not in front of you.
Right.
So I think it's a very good time. I'm glad you brought it up. I think it's a good topic that'll probably come up more than once, because the one thing that we hope never goes away in your marriage
It's sex.
is sex.
Well, intimacy too.
Intimacy too.
But sex.
That stanky, yeah.
Okay.
Just playing. Hey, so make sure you do that. Do us a favor. Go, if you're listening to us over on Apple Podcasts, be sure to leave a review. Go there and leave, however many stars. Snooks always says put 5 on it, but be sure to go ahead and do that, and let us know how we're doing. Let us know, because we'd love to increase that discoverability, because the more that we get people to leave reviews, what have you, the more to go up, and we can increase the robustness of the conversation by bringing in more and more people. Robust.
Okay.
So at this point in our podcast, we always do the I can for couples. So this is where we actually reach into this tool to pull out an affirmation. It's very simple. They start off with I can, and these are the little things that kind of add the oil or the fuel to your relationship on a daily basis.
Okay. So I picked I can give my undivided attention to my partner
When we schedule
when
sex.
we schedule sex.
Come on now, what does mine say?
I
I
just
can
schedule
express
sex.
I can express my appreciation to my partner after we schedule sex.
After her undivided attention.
Has been given to me during our scheduled sex.
I hope it's undivided.
Right?
That's funny.
Hey, we appreciate you. We appreciate you taking the time, because you can listen to a variety of different things: radio, music, CDs, if they still exist,
Yeah.
streaming platforms. I mean, there's so many other podcasts, but you've taken the time to take a stroll with us and have a conversation and be a fly on the wall when two couples just are having a conversation. This is something that came up in a variety of capacities on a previous episode, also on our clubhouse venue. Stuff that we talk about here just between us, the two of us, and we wanted to make sure we brought the conversation to you as well. So please have these conversations in your home, extend it beyond the podcast. And until the next time,
Be blessed.
bye.